Why does life place before us the one whose very presence makes every cell vibrate, only to take them away before we can hold on? Why, among billions, does there appear someone carved as if from our own chest, who can never remain there? What if the pain of loving someone we cannot have is the key the universe uses to unlock what we hide even from ourselves? Carl Jung believed nothing in our desires is accidental. What you resist persists. Perhaps you resisted yourself for so long that life sent you an impossible person to tear open the denial. We get used to suppressing the hunger to be more. We pretend we do not feel, do not want, do not dream so high, until one glance, one presence, one brush that never quite happened, wakes everything at once. And then you understand. Loneliness is not the absence of another, it is the absence of yourself. I won't offer easy advice or lie that this pain will pass, but if you'll stay here in this quiet corner of the night, I'll whisper truths no one dared to say. You didn't lose anyone, you found yourself. She appeared like one who asks no permission. Maybe you weren't ready. No one is. A crossing of eyes, a small spark, in an ordinary conversation, a touch that never was, and that was enough. A hollow opened that grew larger than any presence. You try to deny, to rationalize, to laugh at yourself. It's just foolishness. It will fade. But deep down you know it won't, because it isn't about that person. It's about you. Jung would say each soul carries secret holes, voids that routine and housebroken love cannot fill. One day life sends the one who touches exactly that void. You call it love, desire, destiny, but it is only you remembering the parts of yourself you let die. You do not want the other. You want who you become in their gaze. You want courage, the easy laughter, the fire running your veins. You want to feel, if only for seconds, that you are alive in a way you cannot explain to anyone. This impossible person is your cruelest and most sacred mirror. They show you who you could be if you weren't so afraid. If you didn't accept crumbs of love, crumbs of life, crumbs of daring, they did not come to be yours. They came as your warning. Wake up. Beneath this tired skin, a blaze still burns. I know it's unfair. How do you carry a light you have seen and then return to darkness? How do you breathe with a burning hollow in your chest? How do you sleep knowing there is a laugh, a voice, an embrace that will never become part of your routine? Who said they were meant to stay? Some presences are too vast for human love to hold. We want to tuck them into beds, into Sundays, into cups of coffee, but some meetings will not fit the ordinary. They live only in the soul. Therefore they ache. Therefore they free. You cannot possess what comes to remind you of the infinity inside you. You can try to force talk, beg for a chance, humiliate yourself, hoping to convert fate into shared life. But part of you knows it won't work and must not. If it did, if that impossible person became routine, you would quiet yourself again, smother the blaze to fit a relationship, a domesticated life, and everything divine in that meeting would die, strangled by the everyday. So perhaps it is time to stop fighting what has no solution. Instead of asking the universe to return the impossible, ask yourself, what did the impossible show me about me? Consider what in them makes you vibrate. The courage, the smile that never asks permission, the way they tell the truth without fear. Now look in the mirror. Where is that in me? Why did I kill it? Why am I so afraid to be like that? Jung said, who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. This impossible person is your invitation to stop dreaming and finally awaken to yourself. You will not forget them, nor should you want to. That emptiness is now your fire. Each time it stings, remind yourself, if I am capable of feeling this, I am capable of living up to it. This impossible person is not your other half. They are the announcement of your wholeness. While nostalgia tears you, embrace it. While memories tighten, let a corner of your mouth smile. While the chest burns, breathe. You are alive. And that pain? Your certificate of existence. Let it burn. It burns away everything that is not you. Have you ever truly looked at yourself in the mirror? Not the quick glance in the bathroom while you fix your hair and pretend you're fine. I mean staring into your own eyes until you're ashamed of everything you've hidden there. Jung saw the psyche like that. A mirror that does not lie even when you lie to yourself. When someone impossible crosses your path, Jung would say, "Don't run, observe." This is not just flesh or voice or beautiful eyes. It is a symbol, a projection. It is your unconscious clothed in skin, shouting the truth you keep choking. In Jung's language, projection is when we pour onto another everything we cannot yet admit in ourselves. We fall in love with the one who lives freely what we secretly yearn to be brave enough to live. We see in the other the freedom, the passion, the audacity we suppressed to fit the warm life we call stability. Look at this impossible person. Ask yourself, what in them sets me on fire? Their careless laugh, the way they hurl themselves at the world unafraid of rejection, the depth in their eyes, as if they hear what you never said aloud. All of it is yours, not theirs. They merely reflect. It is the mirror your unconscious placed before you, so you finally see that under the gray skin of routine, there is still flame. Every projection is a muffled cry for self-knowledge, the soul saying, "Look, this is who you could be if you stopped sabotaging yourself." And yes, it hurts, because the mirror that reveals also disappoints. You touch it, but cannot own it. You kiss it, but it does not stay. Confusion follows. You think the other is the solution, that only beside them will you feel whole again. Nonsense. Jung would smirk. The other is not your savior, but your herald. They didn't come to seal your gaps, but to show where they are. What you do next is your choice. Some run, block, ignore, fling themselves into cozy relationships to pretend there is no wound. Some nurse the pain like an addiction, replaying every word, every laugh, every touch, maybe imagined, feeding the void just to feel alive in a life made of nostalgia. But there is another path, the rarest one. The path of the one who understands that loving the impossible is, in truth, the first time you loved yourself, only you don't know how yet. It is to stare at Jung's mirror, and instead of smashing it or stealing the reflection, decide to become what it shows. Think about what lives in that person you buried in yourself. The courage to say no, the impulse to laugh loud even when the world orders silence, the passion that makes your blood boil at every choice. Now, in the quiet, promise yourself, I don't need them to be this. I need only me. Jung spoke of the self at the sacred core within each of us, shouting to be fully lived. Every deep encounter is a key. Every pain caused by another is a door. You decide to open it, or keep sleeping while pretending there's nothing to open. Perhaps the great irony is that someone impossible comes to teach you how to be possible. You spend sleepless nights wanting the other when you should be building yourself. And yes, this is the best revenge on the emptiness. Turn pain into power. Become so whole that one day, remembering that smile, you won't think, I need them to be happy, but I needed them to awaken who I always was. Jung's mirror does not lie, and it shines in the form of a face you cannot kiss whenever you wish. Use it wisely, because if you are brave enough to see the reflection, you will never be the same. There are pains that tear and pains that stitch. Impossible love does both at once. It breaks you into 1,000 pieces and leaves you more complete than before. Strange, isn't it? But this is how the universe teaches what you would never dare to learn alone. When someone burns within you while not living in your routine, you are forced to learn a kind of love most never touch. A love without possession, without control, without promises. A love that exists to open space, not to occupy it. Jung saw such pain as something sacred, not punishment, but initiation. A wound that does not kill but makes you stronger, clearer, wilder inside. See it. Pain is not the absence of a person, but the collapse of your illusions about love. We grow believing love means to have, to grip tightly, to plan, to guarantee presence. Life spits in that belief, not always. And you are forced to love without possessing, to love knowing you will not receive, to love understanding that sometimes love means letting go. Letting go. It hurts like 1,000 demons. Yet it heals, because this pain achieves what no comfortable relationship can. It digs deep, tears the superficial, shows who you are when you stand with no guarantees. You're reading this because you miss them, because your chest aches, your mind gropes at air, your hands replay every detail, every touch that may not have been. You don't want to let go, I know. But hear me, clinging will not bring them back. It only shackles you. So let yourself break. Cry as long as needed. Scream into the pillow. Say you hate the universe for the cruel irony. Swear you will never love again or trust again. Then, in the quiet, listen to your heart. See what remains when the hope of possession dissolves. What remains is you. You without masks. You without a script. Raw, torn, pulsing. And this version of you is the most beautiful because it depends on no one. Loving the impossible isn't loving less. It is loving deeper. It proves your love does not require contracts, promises, or couple routine to be real. It shows your love is so vast it survives absence and feeds on it to grow. The secret almost no one understands is this. Impossible love does not destroy your capacity to love. It destroys your capacity to love poorly. After this, you stop begging for crumbs, stop settling for halves, stop squeezing into lukewarm unions. You become too large to fit into the small. And here, paradoxically, healing begins. It begins when you stop pleading for the other and start giving thanks for the wound, understanding that it kicked you out of the gray zone where you survived but did not live. Jung said, "Our greatest wounds are also our greatest sources of light." Don't believe it immediately. Just remember it when nostalgia presses so hard you can't bear it. Breathe. Feel. Do not run from pain. Every tear is a part of you dying, so the living can have space. Yes, impossible love breaks, but dear heart, it also heals. Stop fearing pain. Fear a life without this kind of honest passion. Now, pause. Stop repeating that you lost a great love. You lost no one. You lost the illusion that you needed another to be whole. To lose a lie, even when it feels like a knife, is always a win. Close your eyes for a moment. Recall everything that enchanted you in that person. The courage to say what they think. The ease of laughter without fear of judgment. The fire that turned mere surviving into living without asking, without permission. Now ask yourself, mercilessly, why am I not like that with myself? Why did I rip that out of me to be acceptable, adult, restrained? This emptiness is here to invite you to what presence could never have done. Become the master of what remains. You stand before your greatest mirror clear, without murky reflections or excuses. They were only the catalyst, the breath reminding you of what lives in you and demands to live. I know it's easier to lie down and loop the what-ifs. What if we'd been together? What if they hadn't belonged to another? What if the universe weren't so cruel? But listen, Jung whispers to those who stay awake over their pain at night. In the soul there are no accidents, only necessities. You needed an awakening. Nothing wakes deeper than loving the unattainable. Nothing rips a lazy heart wider than desiring the impossible, than realizing it is you, who you were always meant to be. Do not fear the solitude that remains when the other goes. Use it like a fire right. Let everything burn that is not yours. Borrowed fears, packed down templates, the laziness of being less than you attempted. Give thanks, yes, through tears for the meeting that showed you this. It is rare. Few touch this abyss and return more alive. Most run, distract, drown in noise to avoid hearing the heart cry in the dark. But you are here reading, so I know you want to hear. When nostalgia bites, close your eyes and whisper, "I am everything I was searching for in their eyes." Repeat until you believe it. Repeat until you feel it. What irony. The other left, but left a map. Now every step is yours. Jung believed a person's greatest duty is not to the one they love, but to the one they can become. Today's pain is the honest invitation to that duty. One day, I promise you will smile on an ordinary gray Monday and realize that person was neither fate nor punishment. They were the call to become whole. Until then, breathe, feel, and let the impossible be only the shattered heart mirror that returned to you the rarest treasure, yourself. Close your eyes, breathe deep as if saying farewell to a beautiful dream that no longer fits the night, and ask yourself with almost cruel honesty, who am I after all this? Do you see it? What you mistook for punishment, loving the one you cannot have, was the open door to the you were afraid to be. You did not lose love. You were granted permission to be bigger, wilder, more alive. Jung would say the soul wastes no encounter. Nothing is random. Every emptiness left a mark no one can erase. Every stifled breath, every swallowed tear, every night with a single silence. Each has become a strand in your courage. You are no longer who you were, and you must not want to be. What burned has purified. What remains is seed. And if the pain returns, and yes, I know it will, remember, it is only the reminder of the one you vowed never again to abandon, yourself. When nostalgia bites, say to yourself, I am what I was seeking. I am I. Repeat until it becomes true. And know this, you have survived the impossible. If this stirred corners you wish would stay untouched, I understand. I, too, learned the hard way that some loves arrive only to rip us open, but by the end, those rips sew us back to who we are.